How old were you when you got hooked up with Hunger Games? How old were you?
I was 19.
19.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And what was that experience like for you?
It was crazy. I mean, it's like, my perception of young fame has changed a lot as I've gotten older. I think looking back now, hindsight's 2020. I think I got very, very lucky with my whole experience in that I had just enough success that I could start a career, which was my dream. And got to work, and then through shows like Vikings and Heels, which is on Netflix right now, I continued to be able to grow as an actor and learned what it really took, but not too much exposure that I felt like it was going to, remove me from my childhood or things like that. So I'm so lucky with the way that happened, and I'm so grateful for that film, because I really wouldn't be sitting here if it wasn't for that and everything I've done subsequent to this moment.
I can't imagine. Again, people will say it's like, oh, it's a kid's book, Hunger Games in a way. Or, oh, okay, I guess it's in the way Lord of the Flies was a kid's book too. You know what I mean? Like, were you? But that wasn't your first gig either. Like you'd already
I had a little bit of success like earlier
Seeker,
on.
right?
I did like The Seeker, The Dark is Rising was like my first real shot.
How old were you on that?
I was 13.
Okay.
And that was like, it was a bit of a disaster, but it was one of the greatest experiences a kid could ever have. The film didn't turn out great, but I'm so proud to have been a part of it. And then from that, I got Race to Witch Mountain with Dwayne Johnson, who I noticed you guys have a picture of him there, and that was an incredible experience.
What was it like working with Dwayne Johnson?
The best. He was the best. Like it was my first time working with like a huge star, and I was just completely starstruck. And he actually we loved playing guitar together. So he gave me his favorite guitar when I turned 16 on that set, even though I looked like I was 8. And I still have it.
So he gave you a 16th birthday present of a guitar?
Yeah,
from his
guitar.
Of his guitar.
Yeah. And
what do you mean you would just sit there like in between scenes?
Like in between scenes, like when I was skipping school, because I hated doing school on set. I would like walk up to his trailer and we'd play music together, because I love music. And he's one of the good ones. Every once in a while, they say don't meet your heroes. Like he's somebody I would absolutely suggest meeting. He's just a humble, very kind, incredibly hardworking human being, and I'm grateful. I mean, I haven't spoken to him for a couple of years. I remember when I started shooting Bad Boys, he sent me a really, really great email and a workout plan. And
a workout plan?
Yeah, because they
wanted
me
to follow that, though.
100%. Yeah. They wanted me to get a lot bigger for that film, especially the third one. So for that character, so I followed that plan to a T.
So, I mean, if The Rock is going to send you what he's cooking, you better follow the entire recipe, right? Like you can't just have a cheat day when Dwayne Johnson sends you here. This is what I would do.
No, and it was a lot of eating and a lot of heavy lifting.
Oh, great!
I really don't miss that. I don't want to get that big.
No kidding.
Oh, it's just like you just feel like sluggish and just like it's a lot of weight to carry around.
Sounds like a great day to me, though. Maybe that's why Dwayne isn't sending me this is what you should do for your 40-yard dash type stuff. But were you freaked out with stuff that was happening in the Hunger Games, though? I mean, did some of that stuff freak you out?
No, I was excited. People always say, like, are you, I'll never, like, if I'm walking in an airport and somebody, is a Vikings fan or a Hunger Games fan, they come up and they go, oh, you must get this all the time. You must hate this. First off, it doesn't happen all the time, but when it does,
sure.
I don't, I love it. I love it. I mean, people are usually really respectful, and it means the world to me that, I mean, we make this stuff for people to see it. It's like, I want everybody to watch Earth Abides, and be moved by it. So when somebody comes up to me in person and tells me how much it moved them, it's like, it's everything to me.
Yeah, but I mean, being a 19-year-old and something about hunting children for sport, that doesn't freak you out?
I think I was probably a little bit of a sick kid. It didn't bother me that
much. Now we're getting somewhere in this conversation. Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah. That beat the Squid Game to the punch, man.
Yeah, it really did. I mean, I think I remember the author talking about how she was watching, I mean, this is a little dark, but she was basically watching clips of the war in Afghanistan at the time, and then she switched the channel and it was a reality show, and she said, what if we paired this together? And it was it's a really crazy idea, and I loved the first book. I was completely fascinated by it. But yeah, of course, it's a dark idea, but I think that these kind of stories are also really important to warn us, I guess, or just kind of foreshadow, this is where we could go if we're not careful, I mean, that's obviously a very extreme reality, but yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it was just the dream of dreams. And this business is just so much persistence and so much luck. And you just stay in the ring, and I always say, you just keep casting that line until you get a bite, and that was one of my first big ones, and I'm eternally grateful for it.
So who'd you pick stuff up from there? Stanley Tucci? What do you?
Oh man, 100%.
Who else?
Everybody I work
Elizabeth
with.
Banks. Liz Banks was on that
100%.
set.
Yeah, Stanley was somebody who I got, these kind of huge films. You don't get as much time with people. I mean, Jen and I probably had 10 days together, and you're kind of in and out and ships in the night in a lot of scenes. But like Stanley was somebody I was watching very carefully, and years later, I ended up working with Tony Hopkins, and I remember going to him just saying, take me to your trailer, show me what you do. I'm fascinated by, because every actor has what works for them. They have their own process, and I'm of the mindset that we can always get better and always grow. So for me, I'm just trying to be better every single day. So that's the greatest thing about this business. You work with your heroes and you get to learn from them.
All right, you're not allowed now to just move on. So you go up to Sir Anthony Hopkins?
Excuse me,
Okay.
Sir Anthony
listen, not everybody calls him Tony.
I was like, oh,
like
Tony,
he's a tiger on a cereal box,
Right.
So what do you say to you when you said, take me in your trailer and let's talk about the craft?
It was actually fascinating. So his approach to acting, and I've absolutely taken this to my work, is he's almost OCD about his lines. So he will write numbers beside his lines, saying how many times he's recited that specific line. And I mean, these numbers were like 300, like 100, 250.
On his script?
On his script.
Okay.
And his whole ideology behind that is just, the more I know it like the back of my hand, the more free I am in the moment. And I so believe that to be true. I mean, with our business, but I equate this to being an athlete, to sports, to anything.
Reps and practice.
It's not the game.
You play freer.
Yeah, 100%. It's about the preparation. And it did take me a long time to realize that as a kid. You're 19 years old, you booked the Hunger Games, you think you figured it out. You got so much to learn. I tell kids now who have had these experiences, these lightning in a bottle moments. I'm just like, just remember, it's about the work. It's amazing when it happens, but what are the chances you get 2 Hunger Games back to back? It's about growing as an actor, and preparation frees you up completely for that. Bryan Cranston wrote an amazing book called A Life in Parts, and he talks a lot about this. He talks a lot about this in the auditioning room too. He's like, whenever I audition, I'm not there to get a job. I'm there to give a performance, and the more I've prepared for that, the more free you can be.
So my 2 follow-up questions. What's the largest number you saw on Anthony Hopkins' script? Do you remember?
I can't.
Was it a 4-figure number?
I don't know if no. I saw like 300.
Okay.
I can't remember. It was a couple of years. It was probably like a decade ago now.
Well, I mean, and he could have really messed with you, because the other one is like, so when you walk in the trailer, does he have fava beans and a nice Chianti sitting right there?
Thankfully not this time.
Come in, kid. I'm having a friend for dinner.
Clarice.
That's phenomenal. Yeah. That's so cool, man. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.